When they tell you that you have to be careful with the spice in Mexico, they meant for games like this. Today, Liga MX, Club America, Puebla, on One Soccer.
Hello and welcome. I'm joined by Tristan Borges and Kyle Bekker of Forge FC. Let's start with the first game of the CPL season. You guys were involved, a 1-1 draw with York 9, and it was an incredible atmosphere at Tim Hortons Field. To walk us through stepping onto the pitch for the first time there, Tristan.
Yeah, I think it was an exciting game to be a part of, right? You know, there was a lot of hype going towards it, and I think, you know, as the players, we already kind of, you know, we're already expecting what's going to be a part of it, but I think the fans were amazing. Of course, I think everybody saw that, and like I said, it was just an exciting game, good game from both teams, and it was definitely something to be proud that you're a part of, right?
What's going through your head after Ryan Telfer scores in the 3rd minute of that match?
Yeah, not the ideal start you want, but yeah, like Tristan said, it was an unbelievable experience. We were all looking forward to it, obviously with a massive build-up, a little longer preseason, and sort of that stretched out a wait to start the season. But I think everything went well, and when it was all said and done, again, you're going to look back at it a few years down the road when the league's grown to what we all know it's going to go to. It's going to be awesome, and it's a great experience.
Is it what you expected from the league?
I think it surpassed my expectations for sure. Obviously, with these things, you never know how everyone's going to buy into it, but right from the get-go, right, at least from when I signed, the Hamilton support has been incredible. So we kind of knew they were going to have our back, but the numbers they came out in, it was great.
Yeah, from the league as a whole, overall, is it what you expected?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think it's something that we've been waiting for a while. But you know, I think a lot of players that have younger brothers, like including myself, it's something to be excited for, you know, for the future. And I think, you know, just like as Beck said, I think it's more than what we expected, and it's definitely something exciting to be a part of, and we're just excited to be able to play every game, you know, in front of the fans that we have. And you know, the away games that we go to, there's always a good crowd, so it's just exciting.
What does it mean to introduce the country to this game and this level?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's a little bit unfortunate also with the national team about the results that we've been getting, but I think, you know, just showing the qualities that Canada has, you know, the players that we have, the teams that are doing well, and I think it's really a nice platform for players to show what they're capable of doing and whatever the future might hold for them, but it's definitely something, you know, coming up, exciting to be looking up to. Yeah,
definitely. I think a lot of people would say so far it's been great. I think I mean, for me personally, I've always been a big advocate of Canadian players. I do believe in the talent that we have in our backyard, and you can see it. It's growing, and now with the CPL starting and the support we've had, you can see it's going to start coming faster and faster. And I think on a national level, the young players that they have in with the national team, they've been great. And then with this, it's just opening more doors for young kids coming up who want to make this dream a reality.
And what about the CONCACAF League experience and playing in Guatemala? What was that like?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, those are the kind of competitions you want to play in. Those are the games you want to play in when you're a kid and you're dreaming of being a professional soccer player. And if you want to do it, you want to do it at the biggest stage you can. So for us to have the opportunity to go into that competition and do well in the first 2 games, it's good, because every single game we're playing in that, it's just, again, more opportunity for guys to get seen, more chances to show the talent they have, and it just opens more doors for Canadians in general.
What does it say about the level of the league going out there and having some success?
Yeah, I think, you know, it shows not only the level of the league, but I think it just shows the level of the players that we have on our team. You know, obviously there was a lot of hype going towards our club, Forge FC, you know, going into the league, but I think, you know, we've done really well. The players have really shown what we're capable of, but I think playing against teams like in Guatemala, Honduras now coming up, I think it's definitely something that's going to show what we're capable of doing. You know, we go into every game having the same mentality, but I just think that it's an exciting thing for us players to play in places like that to really showcase what we're capable of.
As far as the derbies in the league, there are a few of them. You guys have them with York 9, but the real rivalry in this league has to be Forge and Cavalry. Walk us through that Canadian Championship first leg. That was very intense and really sparked this rivalry. What happened in that match?
Yeah, I think, it's every game there's always, an intense, kind of rivalry towards, especially the first year, right? You don't really know much about any team. But I think before that game, we kind of knew the qualities that they had. It was going to be a bitter game going in, but I think it was just in the heat of the moment, the way the game's going, how the game went, right? But I think, it's hands off also to the team. They did very well. They've been playing very well, also representing in the Canadian Championship. But I think it's not really just a rivalry just between us, between the two teams. I think it's because it's the first year, we really don't know anything about any other teams, and that's kind of how you start to, always play and kind of create rivalries. But I think it's still something exciting, being able to play them, pretty soon. But yeah, I think recently it's been more than what people are really talking about.
Yeah, because that game ended with a bench clearing brouhaha, and so you got pretty emotional though. Yeah. Is that the first time you've experienced something like that?
Normally I'm a pretty calm guy, to be honest, but like I said, it's more in the heat of the moment. People know me, especially my teammates, in trainings, whenever it's competitive stuff, right? Like my biggest thing is I always want to win, right? So it was a little bit frustrating in the moment, but yeah.
Is he a calm guy?
Yeah, I'd say in general. I think he carries himself well, but in a game like that, yeah, I think everyone could see it was a heated battle. I mean, both teams wanted to win that game, and in the fashion that it kind of ended with a late PK and a questionable red card. I think everyone's gonna react differently in those situations. I mean, at the end of the day, once we step off the field, it is what it is, and you just kind of move on. But it's definitely good for you guys. A little bit more stuff to talk about. I don't know, makes for some good TV. Is
there bad blood there after that match? Are you circling all the cavalry dates?
No, I think just in the nature of this competition and how it's a little bit unique, how we're playing teams so many times over and over, it becomes something I think you do look forward to, just because those are the fun games to play in when there's a little bit more of that sort of that heat and the tension leading up to it, and it's exciting for the fans, exciting for us, and it's just a little bit more there, right? So we kind of want to get the upper hand, but again, they're hats off them. They are a great team, and they've been fun games to play.
Are there any other games in particular that you get up for, you might have circled on the calendar?
Well, I think off the bat, obviously, with just how close we are at York, it is a little bit more of a rivalry, and I think the way the first game went and the way our fan support has been amazing. And then even when we went down there, I'd say we had more fans at their first home game than they did, which was great, and a credit to the Barton Street Battalion and all those guys who have our backs. I mean, they've been unbelievable. So it was nice for us to get a little win there and show them some love that they've been showing us.
Any games that you were looking forward to coming into the season?
There's definitely something. It's definitely what he said. I would say York. Just, also having some relationships with a few of the players there, kind of having a rivalry, right? But I think it's just because, how close we are to them, and especially having that first game of the CPL against them and how it went. It was a little bit bitter on how it went. We kind of wanted to get a win, but yeah, I would say it's more of the games against York 9.
All right, good stuff, guys. It's been fun. We'll take a short break now. We'll come back with more from Tristan Borges and Kyle Bekker.
And that allows us to adapt to different situations and be a little bit more, I guess, deceiving to other teams. And they think we're going to set up in a traditional 4-3-3, but we can switch throughout the game, and it's great and it's fun. And we know we want to have the ball and we want to attack a lot, but a lot of it's definitely set up for we don't want to concede a lot, which obviously, unfortunately, at times we haven't been the strongest in that, but the way we want to play is we want to go forward, we want to have the ball, and we want to be enjoyable to watch.
In Valencia, things turn out differently than in Islands. Sunday, October the 27th, Primera División Femenina, Valencia Femenino, Granadilla Tenerife on One Soccer. 1 second can make all the difference between failure and success. And in 1 second, a lot of things can go through your mind. Choose wisely. Legend says that to get here, you have to be the best of the best. But just by winning this cup, you can become a genuine Asian giant. the Chinese FA Cup. On One Soccer.
All right, welcome back. I'm joined by what some people are saying is the most dynamic duo in the Canadian Premier League, Tristan Borges and Kyle Bekker. If you are the dynamic duo, who's Batman?
No comment.
I gotta give it to him. I'll give it to him.
That's just an age thing.
Sell me on it, though. That's all right.
Respectful.
Yeah.
I respect it. What's been the secret to your success and your connection so far this season?
I would more individually, like both of us together.
No, the two of you together. We have a few highlights here that you'll see on the monitor. You guys have such a close connection, and these plays in particular demonstrate that.
Yeah, I would say, just anytime that so if you come into a new team, whenever you see the players, if you see the quality that players have, it's always kind of easier to have a good connection with that, right? And obviously you guys can see the qualities that our captain has, and it's basically easier than what people think. People really think that it's something that if you got to push towards or not. But just being on the field when you have quality players around you, it makes the connection easier. And just reading of the plays, as you can see in the highlights, it's just having a connection with the player that has high quality.
Is this something that was established right away, or did it take some time to build this chemistry?
I think pretty early on. Obviously, this year we kind of met each other for the first time, but just once we started training, I could just see the quality this guy here he has, and it's just fun playing with him. You know what I mean? So once we get going, we don't, like he said, we don't really think too much about it. But he has a lot of similar qualities I think that I do, and this guy's unbelievable. So I just try and give him the ball as much as I can, and then he makes me look good. Is
that what it is, though? Do you just understand where he's making these runs and when he's making it? Because sometimes it feels like you have it for half a second, you already know where he's going, you flicked it through.
I think just the way we both see the game and our kind of general outlook on how we like to play football is pretty similar. So I think from that starting point, it's allowed for the connection to grow on the field.
Do you notice anything in particular when he has the ball that enables you to make these runs, or?
No, I just knowing that he has the experience that he has, right? Just getting in situations that, that he could possibly play me, that I get me in the best situation to maybe provide a goal or score a goal is the easiest thing to do, whether it's a switch of play or making a diagonal run, whatever it is. But I think what helps is just knowing that he has a lot of experience on what to do when he gets on the ball, which is what he's known for. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier, but I just try to get open as much as I can, and I know that the ball will get on my foot.
Yeah, have you had a connection like this with a player before?
Growing up, you always have players that you've played with for a long time, right? When I played when I was younger, I had a few players that I played maybe more than like 6 years. But I think, being in the professional environment for the past couple of years, I would say this is probably my strongest connection.
And for you, Kyle?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been enjoyable, right, from the get-go. And this is a player that I'm proud of. I'm proud of his success. I want him to go on and do great things, and I know he can. I think he's one of the best players in this league, and I think he's shown that early on. And it's like I said before, man, it's just fun to play with him.
What about the system? Is Bobby Smirniotis' system done to enable you to thrive?
Well, I think it's a system that we've both kind of grown up playing with, and I think we understand it very well. And it's both. Tristan, for example, he's a very dynamic player, so he can play on the outside, he can play in the middle, and that allows us to adapt to different situations and be a little bit more, I guess, deceiving to other teams. And they think we're going to set up in a traditional 4-3-3, but we can switch throughout the game, and it's great and it's fun. And we know we want to have the ball and we want to attack a lot, but a lot of it's definitely set up for we don't want to concede a lot, which obviously, unfortunately, at times we haven't been the strongest in that, but the way we want to play is we want to go forward, we want to have the ball, and we want to be enjoyable to watch.
What have you noticed about the system that's enabled you to have the success?
I think in terms of individual players, we have a lot of high quality players all around our team, not just us two. But I think, just having the system that Bobby plays, he understands. I think the most important thing is that he understands what the players are good at, right? So as you can see, it has been working. Like I said, I think we've only maybe had one game, I think, that we haven't had a goal. So yeah, I think the system that he has really works with the players that we have.
Is that the identity of the team, to be offensively minded and fill the net?
Yeah, we definitely want to be on the front foot. We think we have the ability to keep the ball, possess the ball throughout the game, but when we go forward, we want to go in numbers and we want to be enjoyable to watch, and we want to be dynamic with the ball and score as many goals as we can.
Yeah, what does the best Forge team look like?
You got to bring Bobby in here and ask him that. It's a tough question for us, I think.
Yeah, you see yourselves as a part of it, though. You've been pivotal pieces with this team. What's your ideal role with this club?
Yeah, okay. I guess I think it's been going good so far. Yeah, I think I'm in the middle of the field, I'd say, is my stronger point. And like I said before, Tristan can play outside, but he can definitely come in and play as an out-and-out number 10, which is, I don't think, is something we have really seen a lot so far, just with injuries and different looks going forward. But it's definitely something to look out for in the future. Individually
now, what are your goals from this season and from the league, Tristan? What do you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, I think I've had this question a few times, right? And for me, it's always kind of the same answer. You know, I just kind of focus week in and week out, right? Just to try to play as best as I can, and whether the goals for the assists or whatever it is, right? Like, I just try to do the best I can to try to help my team win. And for me as a player and as a person, like I said, I'm very competitive. All I want to really do is win, right? So I'm really more the type of person to go day by day and really focus week in and week out to try to do the best I can and not try to think too far ahead. But I think right now, you know, not only me individually, but I think as a team we did very well in the first half of the season, and I think this next half of the season, especially with CONCACAF, is very important. You know, not only as a team but individually as a player, right? You want to perform as best as you can. And I think one thing for me for sure is just trying to stay healthy as much as I can, you know, so I can try to play game in and game out. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think for me mostly is just trying to perform week in and week out to the best I can.
What about your aspirations? Where do you see yourself going from here?
Yeah, I think, you know, for me still being, you know, the age that I am, I think one thing that has always been a goal, I think, for everybody, you know, when they grow up is playing for the national team, right? So that's definitely a goal for mine, and I really do hope that it could come about one day.
What's the feedback been like? Have you seen positive or negative feedback from younger players and fans from your performances in this league?
I don't know about my performances. I don't know. We'll see. I hope it's been positive. I think our relationship with the fans has been great. They've been excellent. Every single game, they're bought in the entire time, and they're aware of everything that's going on the field. They're loud. They make it a great atmosphere, and it's a joy to play in front of them. So I think we've been good. I think it's up until now it has been very positive. But I think there's still a lot of room to grow and keep going and keep impressing on a bigger scale.
You know, what would that look like?
I think it would just be a little bit more sharper in certain moments in the game. I think we felt there's been a lot of games this season so far up until now that we could kind of fill the net a little bit more, be a little bit more decisive and a little bit more deadly in the final third. Mm-hmm. And then in the same aspect on the defensive side, just kind of tightening things up and making sure where if we feel it could be 2 or 3-0 going into halftime and we go in at 0-0, just not letting the foot off the pedal and keeping sure we have a 0 on our end and keep attacking. And I think there's been a few times, whether it's just we're a little younger, a little bit more naive, where a little bit of game management, giving up goals right at the start of a second half or late in the game, and that's kind of killed us a little bit so far early on. But I think those are perfect moments to grow, and I think it's great for our team because we have a young back line who can also go on and do unbelievable things in their career. Very talented, but it's just the little game management, things like that.
Was there a moment in this first season where you felt like things clicked for Forge?
I think there's been a few. I think the comeback win we had against Valor, just because it was not the prettiest game we've played football-wise. It wasn't the best we had up until then, but it was a big character moment for us. Everyone kind of dug in. We stayed in until the end, and we got those two late goals at the end to see it out 2-1, which was massive. It's something that can spur you on, because I think the big thing in our dressing room is we know we have talent, but it's a matter you put in that effort and you work for the guy next to you, and it'll allow you guys to get the results you need.
Any other moment from you, Tristan?
Personally, I think I would say more just because of the little bit of a rough start that we had in the beginning of the season. I would say that game against Vancouver, when I think it was 3-0, if I'm correct, at home, right? I think that was a good game and more of an important game for us, just because, you know, like Bekker said, we do have a young group, right? And you know, the start of the new season, start of the new league, everything was a little bit too quick, and you know, a lot of the players were nervous. But I think that game really shown, you know, the players what we're capable of doing, you know, getting a result in the league. And I think that was kind of, you know, a big jump to the rest of the half of that season that we had.
It was a positive result.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. We'll take another short break. Be back with Tristan and Kyle.
Like a midfield unit like Calgary, it's they're very connected and they're very organized in the middle of the field, and they're willing to bounce out into different positions in the field and get stuck in. So they definitely make it a little difficult there.
When they tell you that you have to be careful with the spice in Mexico, they meant for games like this. Today, Liga MX, Club America, Puebla, on One Soccer. Playing bravely means always facing the fight with honor, fearless, and never surrendering. And when you've got over 33,000 fans standing at your side in Winnipeg, cheering you on, the word surrender just isn't in their vocabulary. Valor on One Soccer. Welcome to the league. Welcome to the stadiums. Welcome to the tackles, the dribbles, the goals. Welcome to the best of the best. Welcome to Primera Iberdrola on One Soccer.
Welcome back. I'm joined by Tristan Borges and Kyle Bekker of Forge FC. CPL has been great this first year. Who are the best players and the best teams you've faced in the first year? Kyle.
You're answering that first.
Putting it all on me, huh?
You're Batman.
Maybe I'm a little biased, but I would say the man to my right here. I think he's one, if not one of the most talented players in the league.
Yeah.
And I get the joy to play with him week in and week out, so I get to see what he can do on the training ground, and he's done it in games for you guys to see week in and week out. So I think that's been great. And sorry, what was the other one? Team?
Yeah.
I think you have to give it to Calgary. Obviously, I believe in what we can do. And I think we still have a lot to show, but they've been excellent. I mean, you don't do, what do they go, 9-1-1? You don't do that just on a fluke. I mean, I think they're a great team. They're tough to play against. Yeah. Very organized, very disciplined, and they work for each other. So it's definitely a credit to them.
And for you?
In terms of players, I think, you know, there's a lot of players in the league that have shown what they're capable of doing. You know, obviously, a player like Bekker, you know, coming into the league, everybody already knew what he was able to do, and I think he's been proving it. I think, you know, there's a few other players, a few other wingers on other teams. I know, unfortunately, he's been a little bit injured, but I know Petrasso, when he has been on, you know, he's been doing well. And but yeah, I think in terms of players, I think there's a lot of them. There really is a lot of them. I would have to say, you know, also for myself, I know I've been doing well. I know I'm not really someone to talk more about myself, but yeah, I think also for a team, I'm not. Doesn't matter if I'm being biased or not, but I'm definitely going to give it to my team. You know, I think, you know, there's been games that I think haven't shown what we're capable of doing, and it's unfortunate for the result. But I think there's a lot of things that's going to be positive coming up for our team, and I think, you know, especially in this CONCACAF, it's really showing what we're capable of doing. And I think both games that we played really showed, you know, the full team of how we could play fully through defensive, offensive, and everything.
You never shy to take a player on, but who's the toughest defender you've gone up against?
Toughest defender? I would say, you know, the game that I came on, the first game against Halifax. Not 100%. I think it's I don't know his name. The left back for Halifax, number 20. I remember it was very difficult going against him, and I haven't been able to play against him yet. But
the Zoom Langwa?
Yeah. I would say he's a very, very good defender. He's very quick, and he's very good at reading what attackers are gonna do.
You're gonna have to pick an opponent now, Kyle. Putting you on the spot.
I think it's a little different just because in the nature of how I play, I'm kind of drifting drifting more and more. I know one of the games against Valor, was it Ola John, or I'm not sure, one of the midfielders there, the little man marking program going on there, so I kind of just had to run myself into the ground for that game. So that was obviously not the most fun game I've had this year, but it's been tough. I think it's more like a midfield unit like Calgary. It's they're very connected and they're very organized in the middle of the field, and they're willing to bounce out into different positions in the field and get stuck in. So they definitely make it a little difficult there.
And where's the toughest place to play?
Toughest place to play. I think one of the best atmospheres we've had this year was the first game against Halifax. Mm-hmm. It was a cold, wet day. The weather wasn't the best, but their fans came out and they stuck around and they kind of gave it to us as we were getting back on the bus. So that was fun to see. It was nice to see that they're bought in and they're there supporting their team.
Any place in particular that's been harder than others?
Yeah, he took the words already. I was going to say Halifax. But yeah, I mean, no, so far I think all the teams have shown a good support. I remember Calgary, when we went to go play them for the first time, it was a nice atmosphere, but I would give it to Halifax, that first game that we did play them. You know, I think it was their first home game when we went to go play them, so it was a nice atmosphere when we went there.
Okay, if you could be commissioner for a day, what's one thing that you would change?
Wow, change.
Yeah.
What can we say without getting in trouble?
You can say anything. You don't get in trouble here. It's a safe space.
One thing I would say is, you know, being a player, especially, you know, with the competitions that we do have now with the Canadian Championship and the CONCACAF, right? If you advance, sometimes the 3-game weeks are a little difficult, you know, especially if you got to travel. So if there's something I could change, I don't know if I would maybe make the season longer, or maybe try to see what I could do about something like that.
Scheduling and general,
something with scheduling.
We'll play it safe and all this.
You gonna say the same thing?
Yeah.
What about roster size? Has that been challenging for you guys?
I think, yeah, of course, when you have a small roster like that, but there is definitely benefits to it. I mean, we have with a young league and a lot of young players, you want to give them the opportunity to play. And I think that's what right off the bat, that's what this league's all about, giving Canadians a chance to see the field and get that professional experience and that exposure. So from that side of things, I think it is good and there's benefits. But obviously when you start adding these other competitions like the Canadian Championship, and I'm sure Calgary's feeling the same way, is the numbers get stretched thin when you start adding all these extra games to the schedule and you start having those 3 games a week. It's tough, but it is the reality of our situation right now, and I think it's a good problem to have rather than a bad one. But of course, you'd like to have a little bit more flexibility there.
You've played in the in MLS. What does the CPL need to do to get to the next level?
I mean, I think it's been great off the start. I mean, the fact that we're just buying in and giving Canadians an opportunity and really going with that homegrown content has been great. And I think we've already seen teams and players pay it back. So that's awesome to see. I think I don't think we want to do exactly what the MLS is going to do. I don't think you want to copy that league. Yeah, no, that's not a shot at them. I think they've been great, and it's what they've wanted to achieve, and they've wanted to be a massive league on the big stage in the world. That's always been their plan. But I think we have a very unique opportunity here in our own backyard. And I think we got to be patient as players, fans, staff of teams, everyone who's bought into it, you guys as well. It's just kind of taking it step by step, making sure we do it our own and we do it the right way, and just continue to grow.
Are you pleased with what you've seen so far?
Yeah, definitely. I have no complaints. I think it's been unbelievable. I think the coverage has been great. The level of play on the field has been great. The fan support's been unbelievable. The facilities have been awesome. I think they compete with big places all around the world. I don't think a lot of people understand the reality of, if you're going to go overseas, it's not always what you see on the internet. It's not always what you see or envision what it's going to be like day in and day out. And it is a little bit of a grind. So I do think we are lucky, and they've had our back in that respect.
Well, we're lucky to have you guys on with us today. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. We'll have you back again.
Thanks for having me.
The determination of a mounted troop, stamping its authority from the beginning. The spark of ambition, the strength of the hammer. Cavalry and Forge are many things, but above all, they have been the best two teams. So the time has come to decide who deserves to be the champion.